And welcome back to Two Wheels. We're talking some of the fallout from the United States Grand Prix, and here's the biggest one for me, is what is going on with Yamaha. I mean, really, the once great make, and yeah, I mean, this is from Fabio Quartararo. He said, honestly, I don't think there's anything to take away from a race like this. I tried to do things a little differently, experiment during the race, because in the end, we're so far behind that I've been able to try some small details. Okay, but it's clear that it's not working. I'm already expecting it to be a very long season. Now, this is the third round. How depressing is that when you've got like plus 20? And he said the team has no idea how to fix the problems we have with the bike. And there is the issue. They have no idea. It's not like we know what we're doing. We're going to try new things. It almost seems like there's no light at the end of the tunnel currently for, well, to be fair, both Yamaha teams. He said, but I think mentally we need to stay calm. We have a month's break ahead of us, and that's very important. So that will be good for us to completely disconnect. And this is the story of Moto GP News. It says Yamaha have absolutely no idea how to fix his bike. I mean, he said he's riding for the sake of riding. With Yamaha at a loss on how to prove his bike, he's the 2021 world champion. Quartararo, I'm getting it, yeah. But anyway, he was uncharacteristically beaten by the satellite duo of Toprak and Jack as he crossed the line in 17th place. Only teammate Alex Rins finished behind him on the road. Easily the worst MotoGP that I can, in terms of pace, like I remember from Yamaha. El Diablo was over half a second adrift of the time he needed to make Q2, half a second, which is an absolute monumental amount, and also failed to score a point in the sprint. After the first 3 rounds, he sits 17th in the championship with just 6 lowly points. Now, Yamaha expected what was going to be a steep development curve when switching to their V4 engine, but I don't think for the life of me they thought it was going to be that big. A chasm, the Grand Canyon of chasm. The upcoming Spanish Grand Prix at Jerez tends to mark the start of their upgrade season, so I'm thinking every Yamaha fan is having their fingers and toes crossed, but for a month that's going to be quite painful, I imagine. But speaking to the media, Quartararo said Yamaha have no idea what they need to do to improve the bike. He was by far the brand's top rider last year, but even that status is now threatened as he's losing his feeling in the bike. And to me, that tells me that he's losing his confidence on the bike, which is absolutely everything. He's consistently given bleak verdicts on Yamaha in his media appearances. He's expected to leave the team, though, at the end to join rivals Honda. He said, the problem isn't that I'm waiting for them to do something, it's that they have no idea what they can do. I really don't feel good on the bike. It's just, yeah. He said, the others feel a bit better, not Alex, but Jack and Toprak. I really don't feel good on the bike. I'm pushing, he says. I have no feeling. To me, that says confidence. I'm riding for the sake of riding. I'm racing to try and do my best, but I can't find anything positive. And it's just so bad. I can't find anything positive. Now, if any of you ever watch F1, it really reminds you of Lewis Hamilton in the Ferrari last year, where he joined the Ferrari team, and they were rubbish, let's be fair. And he was always, he always came across as clinically depressed in some of the interviews, as I imagine Fabio is. He hasn't finished consecutive races outside the points since 2018. Yeah, think about that. And that was when he was in Moto 2. So they're saying he has hit a new low in the Premier class. Last year, he was able to score 5 pole positions before falling back in the races due to Yamaha's power deficit, which probably was one of the reasons they think let's have that version 4. The 2026 M1 lacks the few redeeming characteristics of its predecessor, and sadly, it is slow. After the Brazilian Grand Prix, 80% of Yamaha's problems were engine related. By the time they wipe out their horsepower deficit and break through their low ceiling, he may be long gone, it says. Indeed, there is a school of thought that Fabio just wants to get out to Honda without any injuries. So maybe he's not taking many risks. And that one I completely understand when you've got no hope. I mean, even here on Crash, Fabio, you know, so they have no idea how to fix problems. So it is pretty much, in terms of MotoGP, I'd argue, in the MotoGP world, it is mainstream news. But if you want to cast your eye forward back about a month, why Yamaha, this is from Autosport, should be more concerned than it appears at its current MotoGP plight. And they're talking about an underwhelming official start to a new era, a star rider seemingly on his way to a major rival, and a rider market moving swiftly. Yamaha is playing down concerns over its current MotoGP status, once the GOAT. Now, despite the calm displayed by Yamaha's managing director after Japanese manufacturer's underwhelming season opener, several signs suggest a level of concern. To begin with, it was striking that the company did not allow any of its full riders to speak to the media. To particularly noteworthy was the Superbike champion, who was not given the opportunity to explain how he felt after his first time in MotoGP. I mean, what an absolute fail. And the minute you start banning riders from speaking to the media's going to start writing stories itself, aren't they? Yeah. And in his first full-length race in the Premier class, he crossed 17th. Did at top rank 39 seconds behind the eventual race winner Marco Bezzecchi, and 9 seconds adrift of Fabio Quartararo in 14th, the fastest of the mixed riders. Now, the Turkish rider beat Jack Miller, his Pramac garage neighbour. This was all the way back in Thailand, remember, who finished second to last, 8 seconds behind him and only ahead of the Ducati test rider Pirro. Nevertheless, Toprak is the least of Yamaha's concerns, it says, and I completely agree. Largely because he shoulders most of the responsibility when explaining the origins of his lack of competitiveness. Quartararo and Alex Rins, by contrast, have been far less accommodating and far more direct regarding the Yamaha's M1 weakness, despite finding themselves in different situations concerning their futures. Fabio has an agreement with Honda, as we know, to become the new flagship rider. Now, one of the reasons I imagine Fabio is very, very frustrated is because the worse he does here, he's doing bad here, it's gonna show when he goes to Honda. His, let's say, stock value surely is going down by the race, down by the Rhine. Rins, meanwhile, remains uncertain about his next move. He's as a race winner, etc. Proving oneself when the bike beneath you is incapable of delivering results, it says, is no simple task. The Spaniard and the Frenchman differ greatly in personality and personal circumstances, which leads to Fabio to react far more viscerally, at times to the point of later regretting it. Yeah. I mean, Yamaha, they've got a lot to do. Let's hope, though, we've got this month. Let's hope when they go to Jerez, it's going to be, obviously massive fan sellout probably there. They have something a bit different, and they're not just jolly joggers at the back. I'm most certainly have my fingers crossed for that. They're better than that. Anyway, if you made it to the end, please give us a subscribe. Thank you very much. You are amazing. We're not worthy if you made it to the end. But until then, thank you. We'll speak to you soon. Stay safe.